Chosen one, the miracle before the new year is ready, all just for you. If you are hearing this message now, it is because something that once felt distant is quietly moving into readiness. The words, "the miracle before the new year is ready," are not meant to create pressure or unrealistic expectation. They speak to a moment of completion, a pause before transition, where something you have been carrying internally is finally prepared to meet you externally. For the chosen one, miracles do not arrive as interruptions to life, but as confirmations of a path already walked. What is ready now was not rushed. It was formed through patience, restraint, and the ability to continue forward even when nothing seemed to change. Before we go any further, stay with this message until the very end, because each part builds clarity step by step. And write your warmest wishes in the comments and include 144 as a symbol of alignment and focused intention, allowing this moment to be acknowledged and gently energized as part of a shared flow. Now, chosen one, press the hype button, like this video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and let's start. The period before the new year carries a unique kind of energy. It is not just an ending, and it is not yet a beginning. It is a threshold. For the chosen one, this space often brings reflection, emotional release, and a quiet sense that something unresolved is about to resolve. The miracle spoken of here is not random. It is connected to what you have endured, learned, and integrated over time. It is ready because you are ready. You may notice that this season feels different than previous years. There is less urgency to fix everything and more acceptance of what is already in motion. This shift matters. Miracles often arrive when pressure lifts, not when it intensifies. When you stop demanding outcomes and start allowing alignment, movement becomes possible. This miracle is described as being just for you, not because others are excluded, but because timing is personal. What aligns for one person may not align for another at the same moment. Your journey required certain lessons, certain delays, and certain forms of growth. The miracle forming now matches your capacity, not someone else's expectations. For many chosen ones, the time leading up to the new year has involved quiet endurance. You may have held things together without recognition. You may have kept going while questioning whether it mattered. It did. This miracle is not a reward for perfection. It is a response to persistence with integrity. There is also a sense of preparation here that is internal rather than external. You may not feel like you have everything figured out, but you feel steadier, less reactive, more discerning. These are signs that you are able to receive without losing balance. Miracles that arrive before readiness often create chaos. This one is arriving because stability has been established. You may notice subtle confirmations during this period, conversations that bring clarity, obstacles that quietly dissolve, ideas that suddenly feel right. These are not coincidences. They are indicators that alignment is active. The chosen one learns to recognize these signs without clinging to them. This miracle does not need dramatic announcement. In fact, it may begin in a way that feels almost ordinary. A decision settles, a door opens, a burden lifts. Its significance may only become clear over time. What matters is that it changes direction, not that it impresses others. There is also an invitation here to remain grounded. As anticipation rises, it is easy to rush mentally into the future. Resist that impulse. The miracle before the new year asks you to stay present. Presence allows integration. Integration ensures that what arrives can stay. You may feel a mix of emotions during this phase. relief, caution, gratitude, even disbelief. These are natural responses to transition. Do not judge them. Allow them to pass through. The Chosen One understands that emotional honesty supports clarity. This miracle is not meant to erase everything difficult that came before. It is meant to balance it, to introduce ease where there was strain, to introduce clarity where there was confusion. It does not deny the past, it reframes it. You may also notice a shift in how you view the coming year. It feels less intimidating, less uncertain. This does not mean you have all the answers. It means you trust your ability to respond. That trust is part of the miracle itself. This phase also encourages discernment. Not everything that appears now requires immediate action. Some things are meant to be observed, not seized. The Chosen One moves carefully, guided by awareness rather than urgency. There is a quiet confidence forming here. Not excitement that burns quickly, but assurance that holds. You no longer feel the need to convince yourself that things will improve. You sense that improvement is already underway. As the new year approaches, allow yourself to release what no longer fits. Old narratives, old fears, old expectations of how things must unfold. The miracle forming now needs space. Clearing internal clutter creates that space. This is not a moment to compare timelines or measure progress against others. What is ready for you is aligned with your specific path. Comparison only distracts from reception. The Chosen One stays focused inward. You may also feel called to simplify, to rest more, to reduce noise. These instincts are part of preparation. Miracles often arrive in quiet environments. What is ready before the new year is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to support you, to confirm that your patience was not misplaced and your effort was not invisible. Remain steady. Remain open. You do not need to chase this miracle. It is already forming its way toward you. And as this first phase opens, you are invited to receive not with urgency or doubt, but with calm awareness, knowing that what arrives now carries intention, timing, and meaning shaped specifically for where you are and where you are about to go. As this alignment continues to take shape, the Chosen One may begin to feel a quiet sense of closure around things that once felt unresolved. Not because every question has been answered, but because the need for constant answers has softened. You are no longer circling the same concerns. There is a sense that what needed to be learned has been learned, and what needed to be carried has been carried long enough. This internal resolution creates space for something new to enter without conflict. This phase before the new year often brings a heightened awareness of what truly matters. You may feel less interested in surface-level distractions and more drawn to what feels meaningful and grounding. Conversations deepen. Silence becomes comfortable. You are no longer filling space out of habit. This refinement is not withdrawal. It is alignment. The Chosen One naturally turns toward what supports clarity as transition approaches. You may also notice that your reactions to old triggers have changed. Situations that once stirred frustration or doubt no longer hold the same power. This does not mean they disappeared. It means you have grown beyond them. The miracle that is ready now requires this emotional maturity. It is meant to be received with steadiness, not reactivity. There is often a subtle sense of relief present during this stage, even if circumstances have not visibly changed yet. Relief that comes from knowing you are no longer stuck in the same internal loop. Relief that comes from trusting that what is forming will meet you where you are now, not where you used to be. This relief is a signal that resistance is dissolving. This phase can also bring clarity around boundaries. You may feel more comfortable saying no without guilt, and yes without hesitation. Your energy feels more protected, not because you are guarded, but because you are discerning. The chosen one understands that miracles require space to settle. Clear boundaries create that space. You may begin to recognize how much of your strength was built quietly. There may not have been applause, but there was consistency. There may not have been immediate results, but there was growth. This recognition does not inflate ego. It stabilizes self-respect. And self-respect is a key foundation for what arrives next. There is also a shift in how you relate to hope. Hope no longer feels like something you cling to. It feels grounded, realistic, and calm. You are not hoping desperately for change. You are expecting alignment. This distinction changes how you carry yourself through the days leading up to the new year. You may find that your intuition feels sharper during this time. Not louder, but clearer. You sense when to act and when to pause. You sense what is meant to be engaged and what is meant to be left alone. This guidance is subtle but reliable. The chosen one learns to trust it without overanalyzing. This stage often invites you to slow down internally, even if life remains busy externally. You may feel less rushed in your thoughts, less pressured in your planning. This internal pacing matters. Miracles that arrive during calm states integrate more smoothly than those received in chaos. There can also be a gentle invitation to reflect without judgment, not to relive past mistakes, but to acknowledge how each step contributed to where you are now. This reflection brings acceptance. Acceptance dissolves resistance. And where resistance dissolves, movement becomes possible. You may notice a growing sense of readiness that does not rely on certainty. You do not need to know exactly what the miracle will look like. You trust that you will recognize it when it arrives. This trust reduces the need to control outcomes and increases openness. As the new year draws closer, you may feel less pressure to define resolutions or force clarity about the future. Instead, there is a sense that direction will reveal itself through engagement. This is a mature form of readiness. The chosen one understands that clarity often follows action, not the other way around. This phase is also about honoring rest, not as escape, but as preparation. Rest allows integration. Integration allows sustainability. What is ready to arrive before the new year is meant to support you beyond a single moment. It needs a stable foundation. You may find yourself releasing expectations about how dramatic or visible this miracle should be. The need for spectacle fades. What matters is impact, not appearance. Often, the most meaningful shifts happen quietly and reveal their significance over time. There is also a deepening sense of gratitude forming, not tied to outcome, but to awareness. Gratitude for having reached a point where you can receive without fear. Gratitude for the growth that prepared you. This gratitude grounds what is coming. As this phase continues, remain attentive, but relaxed. You are not waiting passively, and you are not pushing forward. You are positioned. Positioned to receive, positioned to recognize, positioned to respond with clarity. The miracle before the new year does not need to announce itself early. It is aligning with precision. And as this alignment settles further, the chosen one moves steadily through this threshold, grounded, aware, and ready for what is about to meet you in a way that honors both the journey behind you and the path opening ahead. As this sense of readiness deepens, the chosen one may begin to feel a shift in identity that is difficult to put into words. You are no longer relating to your life as someone waiting for something to happen. Instead, you are inhabiting the version of yourself that can respond when it does. This shift is subtle but decisive. It changes how you hold your days, your decisions, and your expectations. In this phase, the idea of a miracle feels less abstract. It no longer exists only as hope or possibility. It feels practical, usable. You may sense that whatever is coming will integrate naturally into your life rather than disrupt it. This is important. Miracles that last do not destabilize. They strengthen what is already in place. You may notice that your tolerance for inner noise has decreased. Overthinking, unnecessary worry, and mental rehearsal feel less appealing. You are more comfortable with clarity than with speculation. This mental quiet is not emptiness. It is focus. The Chosen One creates space by letting go of mental habits that once felt protective but are no longer needed. This stage often brings a refined sense of discernment. You are better able to recognize what aligns and what does not, without needing extensive justification. Decisions feel simpler, even when they are meaningful. You trust your sense of timing. You trust your sense of direction. This trust has been earned through experience, not assumed. There is also a noticeable change in how you relate to effort. You are no longer pushing through resistance just to prove resilience. You understand now that alignment reduces friction. When something is meant to move, it moves with less force. The Chosen One learns to distinguish between effort that builds and effort that drains. Emotionally, there may be moments of reflection where you realize how much has changed internally, even if circumstances still look similar on the surface. This realization can bring a quiet sense of pride, not ego, but acknowledgement. You have grown more capable, more stable, more aware. This internal growth is what allows the miracle to arrive without overwhelming you. You may also find that comparison has lost much of its influence. Other people's timelines, outcomes, or milestones feel less relevant. You are focused on coherence rather than competition. The Chosen One understands that alignment cannot be measured against someone else's progress. This phase can also bring a clearer relationship with patience. Patience no longer feels like waiting without power. It feels like active trust. You are engaged with life while allowing timing to do its work. This form of patience is calm and confident, not passive. There is often an increased sense of responsibility during this stage, not as pressure, but as awareness. You recognize that what arrives will require care and intention. This recognition does not feel heavy. It feels appropriate. You are ready to tend what comes rather than rush through it. You may notice that your communication becomes more intentional. You speak when clarity is present and remain silent when it is not. You no longer feel compelled to explain everything you sense. Some things are allowed to unfold privately. The Chosen One respects the process by not exposing it prematurely. This stage also supports emotional balance. Excitement does not tip into anxiety. Caution does not tip into fear. You are able to hold anticipation without being consumed by it. This balance protects your energy as the new year approaches. You may feel a stronger connection to the present moment, not because you are ignoring the future, but because you trust it more. The need to constantly check what is coming next fades. You are comfortable where you are. As this phase continues, the miracle no longer feels distant. It feels imminent, but not urgent. There is a difference. Imminence carries readiness. Urgency carries fear. The Chosen One recognizes this difference and remains grounded. Nothing needs to be forced at this point. You have done the work that prepares the ground. What is ready now is aligning with who you are, not who you were. And as this alignment continues to settle, you move closer to the threshold before the new year with a steady presence, aware that whatever is about to meet you will do so in a way that fits your life, honors your growth, and supports the path opening ahead. As this threshold approaches, the chosen one begins to experience a quieter, more grounded relationship with anticipation. You are no longer leaning forward into the future, trying to predict how or when the miracle will arrive. Instead, you are standing firmly where you are, aware that what is ready does not require chasing. This grounded stance changes everything. It allows the unfolding to meet you rather than pass you by. In this phase, your sense of inner authority becomes more pronounced. You trust your judgment without needing constant reassurance. When something feels aligned, you move toward it. When it does not, you step back without hesitation or guilt. This clarity protects your energy and ensures that when the miracle arrives, it does so in an environment of stability rather than confusion. You may notice that your emotional responses continue to soften. Situations that once triggered urgency or fear now invite thoughtful response. This is not detachment, it is maturity. The chosen one learns that emotional regulation is not about suppression, but about awareness. This awareness allows you to stay present even when change is imminent. There is also a refinement in how you relate to effort. You are less inclined to push against resistance or prove commitment through exhaustion. You recognize now that alignment often feels lighter than struggle. When movement is meant to happen, it happens with less force. This understanding preserves your strength for what truly matters. This stage often brings increased discernment around where you invest your attention. You may feel less drawn to noise, drama, or unnecessary complication. Simplicity becomes appealing. Clear spaces, mentally and physically, support clarity. The chosen one naturally creates room for what is ready to arrive by releasing what no longer fits. You may also sense a shift in how you view endings. As the new year approaches, certain chapters feel complete without needing dramatic closure. You do not need everything explained or resolved to move forward. Acceptance replaces analysis. This acceptance frees emotional energy and allows transition to feel fluid rather than forced. There is often a deeper sense of trust forming here, not blind trust, but informed trust. Trust built from experience, resilience, and self-awareness. You have seen that even when things did not unfold as expected, you adapted. That knowledge stabilizes you now. You are not afraid of what change may require. This phase also encourages patience without passivity. You remain engaged with life, attentive to cues and opportunities, while allowing timing to guide action. You are not standing still. You are standing ready. This distinction matters. Readiness invites alignment. Impatience disrupts it. You may find that your thoughts about the coming year are less rigid. You are not forcing plans or defining success too narrowly. Instead, you remain open to how direction reveals itself. This openness ensures that when the miracle arrives, it can shape your path rather than being forced into old frameworks. There is also a quiet strengthening of confidence here, not the kind that seeks attention, but the kind that steadies your presence. You carry yourself differently. You listen more. You react less. This confidence is felt more than it is expressed. You may notice that rest feels more restorative during this time. Sleep deepens. Moments of stillness feel nourishing rather than empty. These are signs that your nervous system is preparing for integration. Miracles that arrive into regulated states settle more deeply and last longer. This stage is not about counting down days. It is about aligning internally so that timing can do its work. You are no longer asking whether the miracle will arrive. You are trusting that it will reveal itself when recognition is possible. As this phase continues, the sense of readiness becomes steady rather than intense. You are not holding your breath. You are breathing fully. This calm presence is what allows the threshold before the new year to be crossed with clarity. The miracle that is ready does not require you to change who you are. It arrives because of who you have become. And as you move through this stage, you do so with grounded awareness, knowing that what is forming now is aligning not only with timing, but with the integrity and steadiness you carry forward into the next chapter. As this season continues to unfold, the Chosen One may notice a deeper sense of coherence settling into daily life. Thoughts, emotions, and actions begin to align more naturally, without constant effort. You are no longer negotiating internally about what to do or how to feel. This inner agreement creates stability. Stability is what allows a miracle to arrive and remain without disruption. In this phase, confidence expresses itself quietly. You do not feel the need to announce readiness or convince yourself that something good is coming. You simply sense it. This confidence is grounded in experience, not optimism alone. You have seen yourself move through uncertainty and come out clearer on the other side. That memory now supports you. You may notice that your relationship with time has changed. There is less urgency to rush toward the future and less tendency to revisit the past. You are present without being passive. This presence allows you to recognize when something meaningful is unfolding rather than realizing it only in hindsight. The Chosen One meets moments as they arrive. There is also a refinement in how you handle responsibility. You understand now that receiving something meaningful often brings with it the need for care and follow-through. This awareness does not feel heavy. It feels appropriate. You are prepared to tend what arrives rather than rush past it. This readiness distinguishes temporary excitement from lasting change. This stage often brings a quieter form of gratitude. Not gratitude tied to visible outcomes, but gratitude rooted in self-recognition. You acknowledge the discipline, patience, and awareness that brought you here. This acknowledgement stabilizes your sense of worth and prevents you from minimizing your own growth. You may also find that your standards for engagement continue to rise. You are more selective about where you invest energy, time, and attention. This selectivity is not withdrawal. It is alignment. You choose coherence over chaos, clarity over noise. The Chosen One understands that what is ready to arrive requires an environment that can support it. There is often a shift in how you relate to uncertainty. Uncertainty no longer feels threatening. It feels open. You trust that clarity will emerge through engagement rather than control. This trust reduces mental strain and allows you to stay responsive rather than defensive. You may notice that your intuition feels more accessible during this time. Not louder, but steadier. You sense when something aligns and when it does not, without needing to analyze every detail. This intuitive clarity has been shaped by experience, not impulse. The Chosen One relies on it with calm confidence. This phase can also bring a release of old emotional patterns tied to scarcity or fear of loss. You may realize that you are no longer bracing for disappointment. This release creates space for enjoyment without anxiety. Enjoyment that is calm and grounded allows integration rather than attachment. There is also a growing ease in how you interact with others. You listen more fully, You respond rather than react. You are less concerned with being understood and more concerned with being clear. This communication style supports stability and reduces unnecessary friction. You may feel less compelled to define or label what is coming. The need to categorize the miracle fades. You trust that its meaning will reveal itself through experience. This openness prevents premature conclusions that could limit how it unfolds. This stage also invites you to honor rest as part of readiness. Rest is not avoidance. It is preparation. It allows the nervous system to regulate and the mind to integrate. Miracles that arrive into rested awareness are received with clarity rather than overwhelm. As the new year draws closer, you may sense a quiet confidence that whatever arrives will not undo you. You are not fragile. You are prepared. This confidence does not eliminate caution. It balances it. There is also a subtle joy present here. Not excitement that spikes and fades, but contentment that steadies. This joy does not depend on knowing what will happen next. It exists because you trust yourself to meet it. This phase is about consolidation rather than expansion. You are gathering yourself, strengthening awareness, and creating internal order. These conditions support longevity. The chosen one understands that what lasts must be integrated slowly. As this stage continues, you remain attentive without being tense. You are not scanning for signs or forcing interpretation. You are simply present. Presence allows recognition. Recognition allows response. The miracle that is ready before the new year is aligning with this state of calm readiness. It is not asking you to change pace or identity. It is meeting you where you are now, steady, aware, and prepared to receive in a way that honors both the moment and the journey that made it possible. As this final phase settles into place, the chosen one recognizes that the miracle before the new year is no longer something anticipated from a distance. It has become part of the present moment, not necessarily fully revealed, but integrated into how you move, think, and respond. You are no longer waiting for proof that something is changing. You feel the change in your steadiness, in your clarity, in your capacity to remain grounded even as transition unfolds. There is a calm authority present now. Not control, not dominance, but an assurance rooted in self-knowledge. You trust your ability to meet what arrives without losing balance. Decisions feel clear. Adjustments feel manageable. Even when details are still emerging, direction is not in question. This is the kind of readiness that does not need reinforcement. It stands on experience. You may notice that your emotional landscape feels balanced. Excitement does not turn into restlessness. Caution does not turn into fear. You hold anticipation with composure. This emotional regulation allows the miracle to arrive without distortion. What comes next does not need to be rushed or restrained. It can simply be received. This phase also brings closure to old narratives about struggle and delay. You no longer define yourself by what you endured. The past becomes context, not identity. This release creates mental spaciousness. In that space, new possibilities can settle without competing with old wounds. There is a refined relationship with trust now. You are not looking for constant reassurance or signs. Trust has become embodied. You move forward without needing to know every outcome in advance. You understand that clarity often emerges through engagement, not prediction. The chosen one allows life to reveal itself step by step. You may feel a deeper sense of responsibility without heaviness. You are aware that what arrives will require care, attention, and integrity. This awareness does not feel burdensome. It feels appropriate. Responsibility aligns with capacity. You are ready to tend what comes rather than rush past it. In this alignment, care becomes instinctive rather than effortful, allowing responsibility to be carried with calm attention instead of strain.